Welcome to Anwar. Today we're talking about Malaysia's latest move concerning the Gaza situation. It certainly sparked quite a discussion. We're seeing not just a significant financial commitment, but also some really powerful statements from key leaders. It feels like a moment where Malaysia is really amplifying its voice globally, and we need to sort of unpack what this signifies. So first off, Malaysia announced an additional 100 million ringgit in humanitarian aid for Gaza. And that's a substantial
It
sum.
really is, 100 million ringgit, yeah.
But it seems like there's more to it than just the figure this time. It's not just another allocation, is it?
Exactly. What's particularly noteworthy, as Communications Minister Dato' Seri Fahmi Fadzul pointed out, is this shift in focus, a real strategic pivot, you could say.
A shift in focus. How so?
Well, unlike previous efforts, which, largely centered on immediate relief, things like food aid, this new money is mainly earmarked for reconstruction. And this comes from learning some pretty hard lessons from past initiatives.
Hard lessons. Okay, like what specifically prompted this change? Were there specific challenges with the earlier aid?
Absolutely. Dato' Seri Fahmi actually talked about this. He mentioned how back in late 2023, October, November timeframe, despite successful drives, you know, working with the private sector, gathering substantial donations, a lot of that aid, especially the food supplies, just couldn't get to the people who needed it.
Really? Why not?
Blockades, essentially. That's the term Malaysian officials often use, blockades imposed by what they refer to as the Zionist regime. It's complex. These aren't just about stopping food. They restrict construction materials, equipment, fuel, everything needed to rebuild.
Right.
Aid convoys face huge hurdles, what goods are allowed, which crossings are open, endless paperwork. It creates bottlenecks, food spoils, and the real needs aren't met.
So it sounds like it wasn't just about the amount of aid, but the type of aid and actually getting it delivered effectively.
Precisely.
So this focus on reconstruction, it's a direct response to those failures, trying to build something more lasting.
That seems to be the thinking. Reconstruction aid faces its own massive obstacles, of course. Getting cement and steel into a blockaded area is incredibly difficult.
I can imagine.
But the strategy seems to be addressing the long-term damage, the systemic destruction, not just the immediate hunger. There's a belief, maybe a hope, that working with international partners, Japan was specifically mentioned.
Japan. That's interesting.
Yes, the idea is maybe to leverage broader diplomatic channels, international pressure, to eventually get these vital materials in. It shows a recognition that Gaza needs homes, schools, hospitals rebuilt. It's a deeper commitment to the future there.
Okay, the Japan mention. Why Japan specifically? Is there some kind of strategic partnership or history there that could help?
Well, Japan does have a long history of significant humanitarian aid globally.
Mm-hmm.
And often they maintain, let's say, more neutral diplomatic ties in conflict zones compared to some other major powers.
Right. Less baggage, maybe.
Potentially. So their involvement could offer a crucial diplomatic pathway, maybe easing the passage of materials where others might face more restrictions. It suggests Malaysia is thinking multilaterally, tapping into partners with different kinds of leverage. It's a calculated move, really, to boost the chances of this reconstruction aid actually working.
Makes sense.
And importantly, Dato' Seri Fahmi was also very clear, very strong in reaffirming Malaysia's commitment to the Palestinian struggle for independence. Unwavering, without preconditions. He framed this new funding as strengthening that commitment, not just providing relief.
That unwavering stance, yeah, that's definitely a consistent theme in Malaysia's foreign policy. Now let's shift a bit. Beyond the money and the strategy, the tone from the Prime Minister himself, Dato' Seri Anwar Ibrahim. It's been incredibly firm. Almost unprecedented, maybe. He announced this 100 million from the unity government, calling it the second such allocation. But it was the language he used.
That's right. It was during the Malaysian People's Prayer Assembly for Gaza. The language was exceptionally strong, emotive. He directly condemned those who perpetuate or tolerate what he called atrocities against Palestinians, focusing particularly on the killing of women and children. And he used that phrase, declaring that such individuals are, and this is a direct quote, essentially meaning fundamentally not human, but animals.
Wow. That's incredibly strong language for a head of government. Not human, but animals.
It is. He didn't mince words at all. He also called on businesses, philanthropists to contribute generously to our Muslim brothers and sisters suffering under Jewish tyranny in the Gaza Strip.
Using terms like that, animals, Jewish tyranny, it definitely grabs attention. It goes way beyond standard diplomatic talk. From your perspective, what's the strategic thinking behind using rhetoric that strong on an international stage? How might that land globally?
Well, it likely serves a few purposes. Domestically, Language like that resonates very deeply with a large part of the Malaysian public. It shores up support, showing alignment with strong public feeling on Palestine.
Okay, so there's a domestic audience.
Definitely. Externally, it seems like a deliberate attempt to, cut through the usual diplomatic noise, to shock the international community into perhaps a more urgent response. By framing it in such visceral, moral terms, he's trying to elevate the urgency, challenge what he probably sees as complacency or even complicity elsewhere.
But there are risks too, surely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
For some countries, particularly those aligned with Israel, it will be seen as inflammatory, maybe counterproductive. It could complicate diplomatic ties.
Right.
But for Prime Minister Anwar, it seems the moral imperative, as he sees it, outweighs those risks. It signals Malaysia is standing firm on principles, even if it causes friction.
And it wasn't just about the immediate violence, right? He connected it to a longer history.
Precisely. He talked about decades of oppression. He explicitly questioned international double standards, asking why colonization is allowed in Gaza while human rights are discussed elsewhere. He argued that a nation shouldn't just stand by while people are, in his words, trampled and massacred for decades. And he was very clear. He said the violence isn't really about Hamas. In his view, it's about decades of tyranny leading to land seizure, destruction of homes and schools, and leveling of mosques. He's reframing it, arguing the root cause is the occupation and the systematic dispossession from Malaysia's standpoint.
That's a powerful reframing. And he's taking this message beyond Malaysia.
Yes, he pledged to use his position, his platform, to communicate directly with leaders, specifically mentioning leaders of Islamic nations, but also Japan and China.
Japan and China again. Interesting.
Right. He reflected on discussing these issues since he was young and still having to challenge European and American leaders on the same things now in 2025. It speaks to a long personal commitment and maybe some frustration.
Decades of frustration, it sounds like.
Perhaps. Focusing on Islamic nations is natural. That solidarity is expected. But including Japan and China, that's strategic. They're major global players.
Yeah.
Engaging them seems like an effort to build a broader, more diverse coalition, maybe outside traditional alliances, to exert diplomatic pressure.
And all of this is happening against a backdrop of really strong public feeling in Malaysia too, isn't it? It's not just the leaders. That prayer symbol you mentioned where Anwar spoke, it drew hundreds of thousands to Independence Square in KL. That's huge.
It really is. It underscores that Malaysia's stance isn't just policy, it's multifaceted.
Yep.
You have the direct financial aid, the clear diplomatic position, the strong moral language from the top, and crucially, it's backed by massive public support. Seeing families, children at Independence Square. It shows this issue is deeply embedded in the public consciousness, passed down generations even. And these events often have educational aspects, too. You mentioned the assembly, but there's apparently a 3-day carnival alongside it, with exhibitions on Palestinian history, culture, things designed to build understanding, make sure the solidarity is informed, not just emotional.
Right, giving it context.
Exactly. So this combination, government action, strong leadership rhetoric, and a clearly mobilized, informed public sends a very powerful, consistent message, both within the region and globally. It shows exactly where Malaysia stands.
So wrapping up, it's been a really comprehensive look at Malaysia's latest actions and statements on Gaza. We see a country committed not just to practical aid with this new focus on reconstruction, but also taking a very strong, principled stand diplomatically. And it clearly reflects a sentiment that runs deep in Malaysian society. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.